Hello guys, welcome to a new video on Tower of God New World, and in this video I'm going to review the first SSR Plus anniversary unit, that is Yihwa Yeon. I'm going to refer to her as, in general, Yihwa, or Green Yihwa, Anniversary Yihwa, Support Yihwa, SSR Plus Yihwa. All of these are all referring to this version of Yihwa, and yeah, I mean, during this video I will never mention the other one, so you shouldn't be confused about this. Just whenever I say Yihwa, I'm always talking about Yihwa Yeon, the SSR Plus green support unit that came out for anniversary. That's it. So as usual, we're going to go over the points. We're going to talk about how good this unit is, the skills, exclusive equipment, gear, ignition weapon report, and revolution. And finally, we're also going to see a few, like, not clips, but like replays of past stages where I used her, and I'm using her a lot because this unit is really strong. Now she works fine at no dupes. She's a sort of Evan, I would say, in terms of investment needed. She's going to perform just fine and no dupes. And the next power spike is Rainbow 5, but not only Rainbow 5, is Revolution 5. So if you get her to Rainbow 5, she will be a bit stronger, but nothing really too relevant. What really changes is Revolution 5. But it's not something you are like forced to get, and we're going to go in detail when we go over the Revolution portion of the video. So this unit overall really provides a ton of value, and alone with the special move with the buff removal, she's already she's the second buff removal unit we have. The first one being Urek Mazino with his exclusive equipment. This unit has it in the kit, which is a bit of a pain when we're going to face her. She's going to remove our buffs, which is annoying, but Urek was already doing it, so we're kind of used to it, I would say. So yeah, extremely good unit, and she gets a lot better with Revolution 5, but I will say in which scenarios that is the case, because it's not a universally, it is universally better, but there are scenarios where you won't feel the need for that specific improvement. So yeah, that's all I wanted to mention about this unit. Let's just have a look at the skills. So the passive is pretty stacked. She's going to gain 1 stack of the Life of Flame passive at the start of the battle and gain 1 every 20 seconds. This one does not scale with the level. And when an ally, excluding the caster and summoned beings, receive damage, that would decrease their HP below 5%, consume 1 life flame to recover the target's HP by 40% of the caster's max HP. This is basically like Evankel passive. When she goes below a certain threshold, she gets healed. Now, you are kind of guaranteed to get the heal. The thing is, if the other unit was dealing a shit ton of damage to you, you will still die even if you're being healed back. And this is also the same effect as Bergamot, let's say, okay? So units that got one shot with Bergamot would still get one shot with this passive. Pretty much the same thing. And if she takes fatal damage, if Yihwa dies, for the first time, she's going to revive in an invisible state for 4 seconds and recover all allies' HP by 20% of the caster max HP every second. This is pretty good. You have a cheat death, and it's pretty solid, I would say. Really good skill. Then we have the first active skill. There is not much to this one. It's called Protection Flame. She's going to create Protection Flame for all allies, which is a circle beneath everyone's feet, and is going to recover 15% of the caster's max HP for 6 seconds. This is fixed. It doesn't scale with level. And she's also going to deal 300% of attack as damage every second to enemies near the Protection Flame. This is okay damage, I would say, but it's nothing super crazy. You will only see high numbers when you don't really have a super strong main carry in your team. You're only running her and some other units, because there are some comps where you can just run kind of supports and tanks and would still work if the deficit is not too high. You don't need too much damage. She can deal some damage, but it's not at Gustang level. So yeah, it's just barely okay. Then we have Enhancing Flame. She's going to recover HP of the ally with the lowest HP percentage by 100% of the caster's max HP and increase their defense by 90% for 10 seconds. This is a nice increase and a nice heal, nothing too insane. What is good of this skill is the next part, which is grants status effect immunity to the ally with the highest HP percentage. I'm still not sure how it works if everyone is 100% HP. Probably goes random and picks one between those. And increases their attack by 100% for 10 seconds. This is a pretty good attack buff, and also the duration is not bad. I think it gets better with exclusive equipment, but I don't recall right now. But yeah, pretty strong. Then we have the special move, is probably the best skill in our kit, maybe after the passive. But yeah, this skill is going to teleport Yihwa to the rear of an ally. Still not sure how this ally is picked. So far from my experience, she always kind of went in the middle and like in your backline, even more than where she starts from. So it's not bad. She just protects herself, and it's fine. I don't recall her going in the middle of the enemy team if there was a tank somewhere. Maybe it did once, but I don't think so. The majority of the times she was always safe in the backline. And she's going to generate a massive wave of fire to remove all enemies' buffs and knock them back for 3 seconds. The knockback is a pretty good repositioning, and also the buff removal is again a really solid thing. Before we only had Urek Mazino with exclusive equipment, now we also have her. She's also going to decrease energy of enemies hit by the wave by 400, and additionally decreases energy by 50 for each buff removed by the caster. This is pretty strong. She's also going to recover HP of all allies by 1000% of attack and generate Protection Flame for 6 seconds. You're also going to get a stack of the passive. So this is the only other way you can get the stacks of the passive other than the waiting 20 second kind of thing. So yeah, this is basically it, I would say, for the skills as well. Now if we have a look at the exclusive equipment first, we'll see that level 1, so plus 0, is duration of all effects by enhancing flame increases by 5 seconds. That was the defense increase and the attack increase, so that's pretty solid. It goes from 10 to 15 seconds, pretty nice. The target defense increases by 80% while protection flame is active. This is also quite good because you're just going to get additional defense on all allies that are like protected by the protection flame, which is the AoE heal, and this heal is going to be up like for a very long time. The third skill upgrade is going to be gain 1 additional life flame at the start of the battle, so she starts with 2 instead of 1. Pretty good, I would say, especially because her passive is really important if you have Revolution 5. If you don't, it's fine, it's a nice effect, but nothing too important. And level 4, she's going to get 500 energy when revived by her passive, so whenever she takes fatal damage, after those 4 seconds of invincibility, she's going to get 500 energy, which is pretty cool. She can hopefully cast a special move early and then just annoy the enemies, remove their debuffs, and remove their buffs and remove their energy. So overall, I would say pretty solid kit, pretty annoying support. So that's good for us. She's going to be really beneficial. And yeah, I would say way better than Lozelle in any way or form. Her heals are better. She just doesn't have a super reliable debuff removal. She only gets that on Revolution 5 as well. So it's kind of meh. But still, everything in her kit is super useful and is a really good unit. Now, if we look at the gear, here there is really not much to say. The only slot that you also saw me level here is this one for the resistances. I don't really care about crit rate and crit damage. I mean, I could increase it, but it's too expensive. Coins are really scarce in this game, so don't really go overboard with it. Accuracy and evasion, fine, but she doesn't really need to hit too much, and she's still on like 1200 accuracy. Anyway, we just received so much accuracy from the archive that doesn't even matter anymore. And the same thing is for slot 1. Doesn't really matter as much. Just make sure to have close to the enemy accuracy and you will be fine. Sorry, to the enemy evasion, and you will be fine. And yeah, now the for the ignition weapon, don't look at what I've equipped here because I have a bergamot. The reason why is because I was doing kind of PvP and other stuff. I didn't really want to swap out stuff here and there, so I just gave her a set nobody was using. And this is the bergamot. She just got enough to have 100% resistances. She got physical pierce, but I don't care. She's not meant to deal damage. And the rest is fine. There is really nothing important here. Now, the fact that I'm running her with this set just means you can run whatever you want. Obviously, the most indicated set would be Runda, so that you can give the energy to herself and the other allies on the same line. But it's just a good thing you could equip, not a thing that's mandatory. What's good about Runda as well is that you're getting HP for the 2-piece effect, which in turns boosts her like healing and stuff. It's nice, but not that important. A second set you could run would be Doris. So if we go over my support sets, I also have a Doris set that like we could run on her perfectly fine. If you want to run Sela because you don't need the additional Runda, just fine. Run that, is perfectly okay. Do you want to run Idea to spam the energy reduction immediately 2 times? You can do that as well. Pretty solid. So all options are fine as long as she can survive and provide her utility. Everything is good. I always try to use Runda, but at the end of the day it doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I would say, also for ignition weapons. In here, the only other thing to mention is the priority. And in this case, slot 4 and slot 5 are the ones with resistances. Those are the ones that should be leveled up first. Regarding substats, she doesn't really have a lot of requirements, like effect resistance is good. Magic pierce, I guess, if you really want to. Whatever you can get. Like effect resistance is probably the most important after the resistances, obviously. So physical resistance, magic resistance are the 2 most important stats. And then if you get effect resistance, it's fine. If you get accuracy, it's also okay. Whatever stat you get doesn't matter too much as long as you can have resistances. That's what I would say about this. And yeah, the next part is, I would say, the Rapport. For this one, she's a support. You can just run simply the swiftness part and don't care about evasion and accuracy. That's totally fine, you can do that. And I would say for support units, you don't really need to get to accuracy anytime soon. You will eventually, because we get so many gifts over time that you will have to max also useless units anyway. So you get there eventually, but for sure you want to use this jade necklace on Ren first, because he also uses it. And then after Ren, just go for her. There is no other option, because the other option would be Anak, but she doesn't really do much. So yeah, that's it for Rapport. And I don't know why I quit that screen. Now let's go over the Revolution. So the only things that are important for Revolution would be effect resistance is nice if you're running resistances, so that you can dodge some annoying debuffs here and there. Crit damage reduction doesn't really matter. Crit hit resistance doesn't really matter. HP percentage could be interesting if you want to go for it. It's okay, but I wouldn't really invest too much in it. Attack is also pretty good to increase a bit of damage, but do you need that? No, absolutely not. Recovery received doesn't matter either. Special move resistance doesn't matter too much. cooldown reduction. This one could be nice, for sure. But that's about it, guys. Really, there is not much that you want to look for in these subnodes. And as you can see, I didn't upgrade anything myself, so that's pretty much it. Now, if we look at the active nodes, the first upgrade is going to be invincibility while using Surging Flame, which is the special move. This is just whatever, I would say. It's not that important. Could help at times, but I don't really see a reason for this, because you are still running resistances if you player like me. If you are running her evasion, okay, invincibility could come in handy, especially if she decides to dash into the enemy team. But yeah, it's nothing really necessary. Then we have the Revolution 5, which is the most important part, I would say, of her, and that's the thing that is going to change her from a 0 dupes Yihwa to like Rainbow 5, Revolution 5 Yihwa. Anything in the middle, like even up to Rainbow 5, she's still pretty much the same. She gets a bit better, but is negligible, I would say. What really changes her is this revolution. That during the live stream I kind of misunderstood. I would say I thought it was connected to the special move, but I didn't really connect immediately. It was connected to the passive. And this is pretty nice. It's going to remove debuffs from allies healed by the passive. So whenever they go to 5% or below, they're going to receive the heal, and all the debuffs that they had are going to be removed. Afterwards, they are also going to be invincible for 2 seconds. This is going to prevent them from being one-shotted, and it's extremely helpful when you are playing with squishy units. So you're playing with a Viol DPS. After Viol's invincibility is down, he has 10 more seconds to wait before he can cast the special move again. And in those 10 seconds, he might get hit, and this is where the passive comes into play. He will get hit, he will be like almost dead, he will get some heals, he will get the invincibility for 2 seconds, and likely he might get the special move up again by the time all of this is done, if you're kind of lucky. So that's really good. Child Yuri is also a similar scenario. She's invincible while in the special move, but in between those, regular Yuri could just die. So this one is going to be super beneficial on a really offensive build regular Yuri, and you really need this if you want to get the most out of that unit. Now, if you are playing mainly resistance builds, and also the team that I'm going to show to you in a second, that is the one I use mostly for adventure, and is a full green team. In that team, everyone is running resistances. So am I getting a ton of value out of this? Not really. It's still nice, but not that important. This revolution upgrade only shines when you have teammates that can really die in one hit. Could also be super beneficial for an Evankel, let's say. If between the special moves she used to die in your teams, you see that your Evankel keeps on dying after casting one special move, this Revolution 5 could help her get to the second special move. Stuff like that. This works really well in those kind of scenarios. And yeah, I hope I could give you guys a bit more insight on when you need this kind of upgrade. So if you have the question on whether you should pull or not on our special summon banner, or if you should just wait, I will say again, if you're using those kind of units and you have enough resources to guarantee Rainbow 5, then go for it. If you cannot guarantee Rainbow 5, it makes no sense to go for it. And if you are not using evasion builds, okay, that's also another scenario where this is really good. If you're running evasion builds instead of resistances, then this passive comes in handy quite a bit. If you're running, or if you plan on running resistance builds, you really don't need any dupes on this unit. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I would say, for the revolution. Now, for the showcase, I want to just maybe showcase a clear when she was not Rainbow 5. should be in this one because I was stuck at this floor for quite a bit. I didn't really play at all. And in here, she was already a Revolution 5, Rainbow 5. Let me check one of the first ones. Should be like this. Yeah, in this one we do have this green team. And let's have a look. Yeah, okay, this one is a bit messy because we had 3 enemies with shields. Horyang, Yuri, and Urek. So Zahard went kind of crazy with the damage. At least the numbers here are shown quite high because he just one-shotted the shields. But yeah, we can just have a look at it. You will see that a couple of units with terrible stuff on just died, but all the others just received heals from Yihwa and they were doing just fine. So if we have a look here, those shields are really annoying to deal with. In this case, she also kinda missed Urek, unless his buffs could not be removed. They were just remained on him, but it's fine. Urek was one-shotted by Ren, that's totally fine. And then we just have that guy that keeps on spamming the special move. In this case, he just threw it in a weird direction, but that's fine. So this was the fight. All of them were alive with the exception of regular Yuri, but mine is really, really awful. If you look at the following matchup, let's try like this one. Yes, in this case I already took her to 3 red, just to see if there was any difference, and I will say there isn't. I also changed the composition a little bit. I removed regular Yuri because she didn't do anything, and I added a purple one and Dorsey. Plus I added an Escanor because I wasn't sure Dorsey could survive that well. So let's just have a look. But Dorsey ended up being like outside of Escanor resistance buff for quite a long time. So let's have a look. Start is the usual. The enemies don't really have a great composition. They do have regular Leroro, which is a bit annoying, but with Escanor and also with Endorsi alone, that as you can see just charmed all the enemies outside of Escanor, Escanor passive, and she's still tanking. She is 1 purple against all those enemies and she didn't take any damage. Now we also have the Red Masquarion as an opponent, so they also have physical peers. Pretty interesting, but nobody was basically dying. Everyone had resistances, no issues whatsoever, and he was just there to cleanse the buffs from the enemies, provide heals when they were taking too much damage, and that's about it, guys. Now, if we move to a more recent, let me check. Maybe we could also look at this clear. I'm pretty sure I did use it. Yeah, I think this clear makes kind of sense. So this one is Rainbow 5 plus the Revolution 5. So all she's going to do is she's going to provide Child Yuri with additional survivability, though she didn't really do much in this fight. But again, my Yuri is really kind of terrible. We also have a Revolution 5 Endorsi, but I'm going to talk about Endorsi in a dedicated video. Still, this whole team composition is pretty insane, I will say. We have 4 magic damage dealers that are boosted by both Endorsi and regular Leroro, and then we have Yuri. That is just there because she's Yuri, something like that. So yeah, pretty solid comp, and let's have a look at what exactly they can do. I will try to slow it down a bit maybe, because 2 quick is a bit too much. This matchup is not too difficult. We do have 2 tanks, but like this team is pretty tanky enough. Now we have Yihwa that is trying to push enemies to where regular Yuri is, which is not a bad combo. Yeah, it's a good combo, but the thing is, as you could see, my Yuri just dealt no damage. Luckily, I have my Ren that is just doing insane damage. Here, nobody's dying, nobody's taking damage. Regular Yuri Let's see if the passive procs. You can see here that the passive procced. She had the 2-second invincibility after her HP went down, and she's still surviving. Then she casts the special move, she's invincible, and you just repeat in a loop over and over again. It's pretty solid if you ask me. I really like this interaction. And yeah, I would say Revolution 5 is only used in these kind of scenarios. When you have a unit that is a damage dealer and is extremely squishy, at that point you can keep her alive with this passive. The thing is, if you have multiple units that take a lot of damage, your stacks of the passive will go down super quickly, and it's not like she recovers a lot of them. Because if we do look at her passive again, she starts with 2, but then she generates 1 every 20 seconds or every time she casts a special move. And if you have like 3 units that are super squishy and die immediately, you will finish your 3 stacks and you're done. You cannot do anything anymore, and then like one of the units is going to die immediately, then the other one are going to follow. So it's important when you use this to still have most of your team that does not depend on that passive. Otherwise, they're just going to die anyway. If you have one specific unit, or at most 2, but I would recommend only 1, like in this case, I only had regular Yuri that needed to make use of that passive. So every time she went down, she had the passive for her. If there was someone else, obviously the stacks were going to decrease super quickly and nobody would get the invincibility. So that's one thing to pay attention to. And yeah, I would say that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions on this unit, let me know. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole picture of how this unit works, why she would need investment and in which scenarios, and whether she's good or not. I will say her utility is great, and the investment is only needed in the scenario I described before, if you want to make squishy DPS survive, and one alone, not more than one in the same team. And that's about it, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. If you like the video, please drop a like, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!